This podcast is part of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts, visit red5network.com. And good evening, everybody. How is everyone doing? I'm hoping here that everything is connected correctly. And give me 1 second. All right, I think it's working now. Good deal. All right. How is everybody doing? It is Revenge of the 5th. So hopefully everybody had a great day yesterday. They had feasted upon Star Wars till they could not take any more, and then came back for second helpings today. It is going to be a great day, great day. Let me pull myself back in. Hey, there I am. How's everybody doing in the live chat? Hopefully everyone is doing well. Hopefully everyone can hear me well. All right. So today's show is something I've been thinking about and something I've been working about for quite a while. I titled it Star Wars A Therapy. I have a lot of things that have gone on in my life. I mean, I'm 44 years old. Who hasn't at this point at the stage? And had a lot of things going on with them. And I've always been able to use Star Wars in different ways to help pull me through. And so today we're going to go through that. I have a special guest that I've been talking to about this kind of stuff for a little while. And we'll get to her in just a second. But first, the news. All right, and the news today is brought to you by Far, Far Away News, your one-stop shop for all the great news and breaking news and anything exciting going on in the world of Star Wars. Just to give you a couple of headlines that they have going on today. They have all confirmed directors for Season 2 of The Mandalorian. They have Dave Filoni reflects on the Clone Wars finale. They have an article about Dave Filoni thanking the Star Wars fans. They have all sorts of stuff on there. Again, quote of the day, only a Sith deals in absolutes, Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is fitting for today since it is Revenge of the Sith. And on this day in history, 5/5/2000, the first Star Wars Weekends launches at the Disney MGM Studios theme park in Orlando, Florida. So pretty interesting stuff. Go check out Far, Far Away News. They have a lot of cool stuff on there. All right, back to our regularly scheduled program. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my guest. Once I bring her in, everyone is going to know who it is. And once I say her, I'm sure everyone already knows who it is. She is a force to be reckoned with on Twitter. She has a lot of insights, a lot of thoughts. So let's bring in Miss Rachel.
Hi, everybody.
Awesome. How are we doing tonight?
Pretty good. I've done my very best to try to keep it a secret.
Nah, that's all right. It's always it always gets out and it's already it's always good. Like I said, we've been friends for quite a while now on Twitter, talking about all things Star Wars. And
hi, Miss Perez. Hi, Kylo. Hi, Verol. They're saying hi to me. I'm sorry. I gotta say hi.
Hey, that's fine. Go ahead. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So one of the things that's new for me is this Red 5 network. And one of the things that if you were there last night, I believe you were on. Yeah, you definitely were on last night because you were talking about R2. Star Wars is family. And we have a large extended family in our Twitterverse friends, our podcasts. We have a lot of people that we talk to, we bounce ideas off of, and we've done that a lot. And so I just, if you could explain to me, what does Star Wars mean to you?
Star Wars to me means family. That's pretty much what it's kind of always meant to me. It's kind of, yeah, Star Wars family. It's very much a place where I feel comfortable and I feel like I can be myself and I don't have to change for anybody. And it's kind of, it's a fandom, in my opinion, is not accurate in how you kind of describe Star Wars fans or whatever. Like, I've always thought of it as a family because we all have different interpretations and different opinions on what Star Wars is to each and every one of us. And you can have debates and you can have arguments and you can have, open discussions about, your opinion, their opinion, everything else. But at the end of the day, we all love Star Wars. So, I mean, it's something that just brings us all together and that we're kind of united behind. I mean, I've never seen another fandom that picks each other up and checks in on each other on the regular and supports each other and kind of roots for everybody. Like I've never had or seen anything else like that. So to me, it's family.
That's awesome. Yeah. So we're a lot alike when it comes to that. My history with Star Wars is, it's kind of bittersweet. I have a lot of ups and I have a lot of downs. Some of the things that, like when I first went and saw Star Wars, I don't remember it. I was 2, but my mom couldn't find a babysitter and no one wanted to watch me. I was a horrible child. So, I mean, she just would go on and on about different stories. So no one really wanted to watch me, and that's fine. And so she took me, but because of her love of science fiction and wanting to go see this movie, and me parked in a chair in the theater, not even wanting drink or popcorn or anything, with my mouth wide open, just staring at the screen. She said, "That's the longest I've ever been quiet," which I could agree with that. So, but it's still kind of sad because, she couldn't find anybody to watch me. She wanted to go. So, so she brought me along. I had a friend that had a major injury because we were acting out Star Wars. We were having a lightsaber battle with tree limbs, and the tree limb broke and got him in the eye, and he lost the eye. So I was no longer. Well, we were kids. That was, I guess, right after Return of the Jedi came out in 83. So this is 83, 84. I was 8, 9 years old, and we were acting out the scenes, all right, I'm Darth Vader, you're Luke Skywalker, or vice versa. And we just
instead of Luke losing a hand, he lost an eye.
Yeah. It's all fun and games till someone loses an eye. So, but yeah, I was no longer allowed to play with him anymore. So,
I'm shocked.
And then, yeah, I know, right? Go figure. But, and then to have the trilogy and then have 16 years with no movies. And then all of a sudden, hey, here comes the prequel trilogy. All right. And, and then you get the news that Lucas is selling to Disney. And they're like, but hey, Disney's going to make more movies. So it's kind of, up and down. And I've had other things happen that in my life that I've always liked to get away a little bit. I've always liked to expand my imagination, and when I get a chance to do that, it normally goes to Star Wars. Mm-hmm. So, are you similar? Do you have a similar experience in that?
I found Star Wars pretty much just all on my own. Like, I was looking for something to watch one morning, and I found like the old box sets of the VHSs that have like the Vader helmet on it. So, like, my dad thought he was getting something my mom liked. My mom used to dig into Star Trek heavily, apparently. That's when she wasn't, chewing down on every John Wayne movie or Steven Seagal thing ever made, which is, you have no idea the pains I've gone through in my childhood with frickin' Westerns and Steven Seagal. Oh my God. Like dad made me watch, freaking wrestling and Bruce Lee movies. I still would watch that. Just like now when I hear certain theme songs for Westerns come on, I'm just like, my childhood. It hurts. But like I found the box set and I watched it out of order the first time I watched it. But as soon as I put the first tape in, I was just like hooked. I was like, this is awesome. And of course, being, the kid that I was, and I watched them out of order. I did Empire, then I did Return, and then I did New Hope. But then I realized, okay, this is the wrong order because this doesn't make any sense. So then I watched it in the right order because God help me, I just horrible at math, and I didn't know what the heck Roman numerals were. So like after being told, no, it's 5, 4, 5, and 6. There you go. You got it in order now. And I watched those things on repeat ad nauseum for like months. Mm-hmm. I'd get up early, make sure nobody else was in there, and I'd just be like, nope, this is what we're watching today. We're not watching anything else. And it just kind of like, it was an escape, but it was also kind of in times as I've gotten older, it's been more of kind of like my little safe haven. Whenever, I suffer with depression. I suffer with a condition called borderline personality disorder. So it's kind of like, to put it in context, it's like bipolar disorder, but like if it had been given the Hulk juice. It's okay. Kind of something that like no medication has come about that really takes care of it. You have to do a lot of talk therapy. You have to kind of just manage it. But whenever you have an episode, like where bipolar people may have the manic disorders or the manic or depressive things that come up their episodes, it's only like once every couple of weeks. With a borderline personality disorder, you have episodes like anything can set you off. And when it sets you off, it's either you're just spinning out and you can't control your thoughts, or you're weeping in a corner. So mine tend to be I'm going to sit in a corner and cry for 3 hours. Leave me alone. I need quiet time. So like learning about Carrie's, her disorder, and seeing how she kind of spun it to where she used it to help people. That's what I've been trying to do with Edge of Hope and with everybody in the Star Wars community that I've been managed to, meet and speak to. Like there are people that were having some difficulties with TROS. So as soon as I kind of like found my groove, I was like, I know how to help this person. Like I can't help myself, but I can help you. So I try to turn a negative into a positive, but like on bad days, I just kind of crawl into Star Wars, and that's where I live for like a day and a half. And it's the safety blanket that I've come to kind of rely on. So, yeah.
I definitely agree. I have severe clinical depression as well. And so I know how it is. Sometimes when you get to that low point and you just want to be left alone, sometimes the thing that helps me a lot is Star Wars. Even just listening to the music or the soundtrack. Sometimes I can't sleep, but I'll turn on the Star Wars, and I'll close my eyes and listen to the music. But I've watched them so many times, I kind of play the movie in my head with just the sound.
I can do that too.
Yeah.
I will admit though, I ran across Taylor Davis, the violinist that does. It's an amazing video. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. She did one version of the Force theme, dressed as a Jedi with a lightsaber bow, and then she dressed up as like full Sith and did the other half with the Imperial March. I saw it finally. I found the song. I downloaded it, and that's what I've been listening to recently while I've been writing Edge. And it's really weird for me because I've never really listened to a whole lot of like instrumental stuff. I've always kind of like, I really like lyrics. They kind of like speak to me and help me write. But that is just straight, like, I love it. Like I could sit and listen to that all day long. It's the ringtone on my phone.
So is it like a Mindy Sterling type?
I don't know who Mindy Sterling is, but like it's Kylo. Kylo knows who it is. His kid, Krista. She's really into Taylor Davis and everything
Okay,
because Krista plays the violin.
cool.
It's just so relaxing. Like it's on YouTube. Like I highly
Mhm.
recommend you go see it. You should definitely get in touch with her and see if she'll come on and do an interview with you.
Oh, that'd be
That would
awesome.
be
Yeah,
awesome.
I'll check that out. But cool. But so that brings me into the next, subject that I wanted to talk with you, and you just kind of brought it up, was your Edge of Hope.
Mhm.
So, what got you started on that? Other than, I mean, was it just, you know, someone, you thought, hey, I can help somebody, or was it something you were already working on, and then you showed it to somebody and it helped them? Or tell me about that.
I started doing Twitter threads with I started doing The Force Awakens, and after I got it done, I did one for The Last Jedi, and everybody was kind of wanting me to do something different with. I'm just checking my hotspot. Uh, they wanted me to do something different with Episode 9. They wanted me to do like a complete Rilo edition, which I wanted to do, but the more and more I kind of looked over what I had to work with, I couldn't really do just a straight Rilo cut of it because their story touches every other character, and you
Mhm.
can't really pull that apart. And plus, I didn't like when it came down to it, I didn't want to pull JJ's stuff apart. I was like, this is ultimately his point of view, and it's not going to be beneficial to go and try to like insert my stuff into his stuff. So I just started from scratch, and from pretty much like the second I did the crawl, like I've had a couple of people tell me that whenever they read the crawl, they can hear the John Williams music in their head as they're reading it.
I can
That is
vouch for that.
that is one of the biggest compliments I could ever get. As soon as I sat down and I wrote it, like I started getting chill bumps. That's when I was sitting there like, I can actually do this. I can actually do this. And then as it went along, yeah, I had people saying, like, this is really helping me. I would have rather this been episode 9. Then I've had people tell me, like, I've actually reached out to people who were saying that, they had issues with episode 9 and it was causing them depression, or it was really beating them down. And I've seen, like, I've seen in my timeline, I've seen pictures of or videos of girls just like sobbing uncontrollably, and I'm just like, I can fix this. I can fix this. So I just send them what I was working on, be like, just read this, it'll be better. Like, I didn't fix it, but this is better. Okay, just read this and forget that.
Right.
And that was
Awesome.
ultimately, after that, that's where I started to go with it. I was like, I need to keep going to like
Mhm.
help.
Right. So, where is it at now? I know that you're constantly writing, you constantly have ideas. I know there's a little spoiler in the chat here, but tell me where you're at now.
Right now, well, the Twitter thread is finished. I completed it, so it's over 1,800 tweets long, and it took me a month and 3 days to write.
That's a lot of tweets.
Yeah, like I didn't realize, I never kept account of it, but when I went back to kind of like try to grab it and pin it so I wouldn't lose it, so I could keep tweeting it out to people. Like when I went back, I was like 485. Oh crap! And I wasn't even halfway through, and I'd click on it, and more would show up, and then it would be more, and I was just like, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, like sweet mother of Mortis, this thing's over 1,800 tweets long.
I know I
But
was a little intimidated because when I started jumping on podcasts and then started seeing some of the tweets, and I was like, oh wow, and then I have to scroll up to get to the beginning of it so I could catch up. Like, wow, all right.
yeah,
And then you made an announcement that you're going to do it on another platform,
yeah, I
and so I'm
started
like,
doing it
okay,
on. They wanted me to do a novelization. I had so many people asking to do a novelization of it, and I was just kind of like, I can do a novel. I know how to write those. I can do that. So I went to Wattpad because it was either going to be Wattpad or WordPress, but WordPress didn't give me the opportunity to kind of insert graphics if I wanted graphics, or do a header at the top of each chapter. It was always just going to be straight dialogue and straight storyline. And I liked the idea of, I can't use all of the GIFs from the original tweet chain, but I could use and pull some of them for headers at the chapters. So, it may not be a complete kind of picture of what that chapter is going to be about, but it could give you just the smallest kind of, little hint at what you might come across in that chapter. So I like Wattpad. Wattpad's been kind to me. So I think from now on I'm going to stick with them. But I'm on chapter 33 that I just posted today. And
yes,
it is
RFD agrees.
And like I've always, disclaimer, I've always told everybody when they were reading the Twitter thread, and I've tried to be kind and let the, Dominic Pace started like liking the Twitter thread. He started reading it. Like, I literally fell out of my chair. I was like,
that's awesome.
Like hyperventilating, like, where's my paper bag? But the Wattpad one, I will go ahead and say, like, you do still need tissues at times when you read it, because it has made me cry. But also, like, the Wattpad version, it follows the Twitter thread. Like, I take and I type out everything in the Twitter thread. I like section it off in chunks, and then I fill in the gaps or expand. I've decided that the novelization, while it will still have elements of the Twitter thread, it's going to be a different beast altogether. Like, I've changed a lot of stuff. I've added a lot of stuff. So it's not the same thing that, everybody who has read it will go back and read this on Wattpad and be like, I've already read this. Why do I have to read this again? Like, this is just more. So I was like, I've got to keep it interesting. So, because it's over 30 chapters, you've got to be able to keep them interested. Like, with people watching a movie, if they can't keep with it, then they're just like, whatever. But yeah, and the ending will be different than the Twitter thread as well. I've already got my ending planned.
Ooh, awesome. All right. Well, to be honest, I read up through 30. And then, of course, life gets in the way and whatnot. So,
no shade, man. You've got kids. Anybody who reads it, like, I'm glad. Like, I'm not like trying to like keep anybody under a time crunch, because
no, but like, it's so good. Yeah, you've really done an amazing job with it, and I really enjoy reading it. I got to get caught up. So now that 33 is out. I'll try to have some free time tomorrow afternoon and get caught up. But yeah, and we even talked about it, about one of the characters on Scarif podcast, on how I thought you handled the Ahsoka character. And I thought it was. Have you watched the last of the Clone Wars?
I haven't. Like, okay, I haven't seen any of the Clone Wars, and I feel really bad. But I mean, and if Dave Filoni sees this, I promise, sir, I will. I promise. I'll watch them. I'll watch it. I swear. I'm sorry.
Well, you will recognize the Ahsoka character in the last part in your writing. You capture her very well. So definitely.
Thank you. That is an amazing compliment, because I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've tweeted it out at Dave Filoni, but like, I've just kind of been sitting back like, oh God, I hope he doesn't mind what I've done with Ahsoka. Oh God.
Get on it. Now, yeah.
I am.
All right. Now I'm having technical difficulties, because there we go. All right. I kept clicking.
Kylo's hashtagging me, make Solo 2 happen. I'm working on it. I released a teaser for...
Hold on. Wait. We'll get to it. All right.
Kylo's fault.
Yeah, I know. It's all Kylo's fault. It's always Kylo's fault, Kylo. All right. So that's where it is now, chapter 33, and you're still going. Where would you want it to go? Where do you see it going? If you could have any dream in the world for Edge of Hope, what would that be? Are you almost done with it? Are you? I mean,
I'm close to being done. We're about middle ways through. There's still, I think, if I'm trying to count in my head, probably about 6 or 7 big plot points to hit before the ending. And like it, I'm just writing it for fun. Like this is fun, and I love that you guys love it and you love reading it. Like for somebody who's been writing other things for half their life and nobody wanted to read them, and I was petrified to even try to write Star Wars. But like, shout out to Misconduct. Janet was the one that literally kicked me in the butt and said, if you don't like Episode 9, write a better one. And I kind of was scared, but I was like, okay, all right, I'll do it. And so I did. But I mean, if somebody were to see it and offer me a job at writing a book or give me an opportunity to write like more, or like even to legitimize the stuff that I've got coming up, like I'd be like, give me the pen. I'm ready. I'll sit here and write all day long until like I'll die on the keyboard if that's what's necessary. Like I love writing about Star Wars. I love seeing and hearing everybody's reaction to it. Like it would just be like after it's done, I've had people ask me for like a print copy, like an actual book of Edge, and like as soon as I can find a place that'll print it, I'll print it, man. I'll print it and give it to whoever wants one. No charge.
I actually have a friend who is a writer. He writes a lot of horror novels. He is becoming fairly popular. And I will send him a message and ask where or how the best way to get published is, or a good place if you want to self-publish, and I'll DM you that information.
I really appreciate that, because like around in Tennessee there's not like a whole lot of places. Like I've looked into at one point like the Amazon publishing, but a lot of that is something that just becomes very kind of misconstrued because of it being a Star Wars story with the characters being copywritten. Like some big corporations like Amazon, they get kind of nervous whenever anybody comes at them with like a fan fiction or something that they want to try to get published. So
yeah, and if I remember right, just as long as it is noted that hey, this is fan fiction, it's not related to Star Wars or anything. They're not my characters, is what my friend was telling me, because I was writing some things as well for Star Wars that probably won't ever get written. But
come on, Charlie, you got to share.
Well, I have treatments for Solo 2 and Solo 3. So I've actually written out treatments on what was supposed to, what could happen, what would happen. I can we can talk after about that.
That would be awesome.
Don't want to get too far off the trail here. So I know that you've committed a lot of time to writing Edge of Hope. What other parts of Star Wars really interest you, or really get you going?
I love Carrie. I like all of the female characters, but I like primarily like I really love diving into like what's their story, because every female character is a part of a whole story. But what Star Wars does really, really well, whether they're on the light side of the Force or on the dark side of the Force, they always have really good and compelling female characters. Like everyone has a story, everyone has a purpose within the whole story, but they have something that's only theirs. And I like that a lot, because it gives female Star Wars fans not somebody to look up to and somebody to kind of base their kind of experience off of. Because like where guys are more. Yes, Leia is my girl. Hardcore, love Leia. But we're like with the male fanboys and things like that, it kind of like you guys are more like, ooh, awesome swords, he's a badass fighter, that sort of thing. With women, we kind of emote more. We have more of an emotional response to the films, in my opinion. May not be for everybody, but in my opinion, I think we kind of connect more through our emotions with the characters in the story. So having strong female characters like Leia, like Padme, like Jyn, even like a Ventress or Ahsoka, or there are numbers and scores of different characters that, I mean, the daughter from Mortis. I mean, it could go on and on and on, but at the core, they all have this kind of one element that everybody has their one female character that they kind of identify as. Like some people now are doing, they say Rey, I'm more of a Rey, or I'm more of a Jyn.
Mm-hmm.
I like, or Kira. Even there was a thing that got posted that I did, and it said that I was half Jyn Erso, literally like 50-50, half Jyn Erso and half Kira. And it's not Leia, but heck, I'll take Kira any day of the week.
Right.
Kira, I love Emilia Clarke.
Well, the Leia will always have a special place for me as well. When I can remember actually watching Star Wars and having independent thoughts about it, other than oh, hey, this is a cool movie. But when I actually started thinking about it, 7, 8 years old, Leia really reminded me a lot of my mom. And that's part of the reason why she stood out to me. My mom was always tall, and I would always like to try to hide from her. And I could always find out where she was because I could see over the shelf, over like the clothes racks, and see her head. And so I would hide in the clothes racks, and I would try to scurry under, and try to scare her and whatnot. And she'd give me that mom look. And my mom just never took any crap from anybody. And when I'm watching Star Wars and I see Leia and just her quips, oh, you came in that thing, you're braver than I thought. And, and the way that she takes charge of her own rescue it was that powerful of a personality and it reminded me a lot of my mom. And then that of course changed in a little bit in Return of the Jedi, because I was, that get up at the very beginning. It was like, it was like, whoa, hey, what kind of get up is that? And then
I think that's side butt. That's what that outfit was.
Well, and I remember my thought was, it was like, whoa, that's cool. And then my other thought was, someone's going to die for putting her in that outfit. And sure enough, Jabba dies at her hands because, not necessarily because he put her in the outfit, but he put her in the outfit.
I think it played a part. We'll just say it played the part.
Yeah, that was that final tug. You made me wear this, So, but yeah, and so yeah, Leia definitely had a special place for me. Even when Rise of Skywalker trailer came out and they played her theme, and knowing that she wasn't there for the movie, it brought a tear to the eye.
You're gonna make me cry. You're gonna make me cry bringing that up.
Oh, it's just it was so powerful. And Leia's theme is my all-time. If I had to pick one theme to listen to, it's not the Force theme, it's not Luke's theme, it's not the Imperial March. I would listen to Leia's theme over and over and over again. It's really that good. So
yeah,
but,
Leia,
yeah.
like You're gonna make me cry. Like, I'll say, like, I've said it before. Like, writing the Leia parts of both the Twitter thread and both the chapter that I wrote for her on Edge. I cried. Like, nothing makes me cry, and I've never cried at anything I've ever written, but I bawled like a freaking baby. But Leia, to me, like, Leia saved my life. Like, I've said it before, and like, I don't think anybody really kind of, like, I've never really just flat out said it, but like, when I was 13, like, I've always had like a lot of issues within my core family, my real family, and like, specifically my mom's side. So I had some really bad stuff happen, and I had some really dark days. And if it hadn't been for Carrie Fisher and her character and her strength as Leia, like, giving me something to draw off of, like, I wouldn't be sitting here today. Like, and there were times after that where I had, things happen to me that, not exactly things that you could discuss with men, or at least not comfortably. So it was something that you kind of had to deal with within the female community. And if you didn't have that, you just kind of had to deal with it yourself. And having Carrie as an inspiration to go to and look at really kind of pulled me back from the edge. But it's also very rewarding. I just watched all of the original trilogy with my best friend's daughter, Madison.
Oh, yeah.
Who's 9. And I asked her who her favorite character was, and it's Leia. She loves Leia. And as soon as she said that, I was just like, oh, you're my girl. I knew you'd get it. I knew you'd get it. She loved it. She loved it. But, I mean, it's just, Leia she's multifaceted, where, like, she's the daughter, she's the warrior, she's the general. She can be, the wife, the girlfriend, she can be her own rescuer. She can rescue guys like she rescued Han. But, I mean, she's multifaceted in, like, every single kind of context that she is. She can rock out an awesome dress and some kick-ass hair, or she can rock out, carrying a blaster and wearing the pants in the house. It doesn't matter. She can hang with Chewie or Han, and she's just as good as Luke with a lightsaber. Or maybe even better, because I tend to like her lightsaber a lot more than Luke's. But that's another.
I just had a thought of, like, Lando and Chewie and Luke and Leia sitting around in a campfire as they're hiding out from the Empire, and man, we really need to rescue Han, and Luke, saying, kind of whiny, well, I don't know how we're going to do it, and Leia just says, hold my beer, and she goes off and does it. She's just
like, I'll be back in about 10 minutes, boys. Just make sure the Falcon's gassed up and ready to go.
Yeah, and it was such a powerful character. So
I mean, she never has to apologize for being what she is, and that's one of the things that I love the most about it. It's like, she's unapologetically genuine. She is who she is. There's no fluff. There's no kind of there is no kind of anything extra, no filler. Like, she just is who she is, and I love that. I've tried to kind of incorporate that in my life, where instead of changing for this significant other, or for my parents, or for whoever else, like friends or whatnot, like, I am who I am. Like, at this point in my life, I'll be 36 in August. I've changed 1,500 different ways for 1,500 different other people, and I'm tired. It's very exhausting to kind of feel like you've got to walk on eggshells or put on a different skin for each person you come into contact with. It's just, this is me. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I mean, I kind of tend to take that, the way it is. I'm very kind of black and white. I'm either all in or I'm all out. That's part of Leia, I guess, that I've assumed as my core identity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's,
Oh,
you know,
you went
we,
dark for a second.
yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that. I'm thinking it's the built-in camera on this Mac. I have a new camera on order, but and I ordered it in April, and Amazon still says, "Hey, it's shipping somewhere," and I
Yeah.
don't know where. So, but yeah, like the Star Wars has evolved over the years. We've seen some changes, some good, some bad. And it kind of reflects us as well. We've all changed. We've all evolved. In fact, even RFB says it. You know, we've all changed. We've all come together through the Force and formed a family, and you know, and we can get to talk about this great adventure. It's awesome. So,
Well, I mean, did you see yesterday? I don't know if I was able to get it to you, but did you see yesterday? Jonas Samato, Chewie himself, you know, aside from Peter Mayhew, who was OG Chewie, actually used hashtag Star Wars Family.
oh, awesome.
I about
That's
fell
cool.
over. I was like, "It's official. Chewie's used it. It's official. Nobody can call it a fandom anymore. It's a Star Wars family. That's all there is. Chewie has made it so, and now it's canon."
That's awesome. But so we talked about Edge. What other projects do you have that's rattling around in that head of yours? I know that there's something or some things brewing, and I think you made mention of
Yeah,
one or two already.
I've
So what do you got?
I'm writing Solo 2 as a script. On the request of a very close friend. And James was kind enough from Rebel Scum to give me the word processing thing. Like he told me which one to go with to write the script. So thank you, James, because I didn't know what else to do it on. I was like, I can't write this as a word processor. So I'm doing that. I posted a little like teaser of it on May 4th because I promised I would. I wish I had had more, but I've been so busy and I've been kind of like bogged down by some stuff. So like I really kind of need to get back on that. And that's why like I really needed the kick in the butt today to get 33 out there. And I'm gonna get back on track. But after Edge, along with writing Solo 2, which I'm interested to read yours to see if they're slightly similar. Maybe we could do like a Luke, like a Beckett and Kasdan kind of like tag team it, Charlie.
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
But I really want to, like, I've had people ask me to do a Zori Bliss standalone, and I'm going to do that. I've already got the story thought out, planned out in my brain, and it's not the same Zori from TROS. It's my version of Zori because
So she's not a spice runner.
no, I think I found a better use for Zori. Like that's the chapter 33 that just got posted. Go read that. I guarantee you'll see the difference. But like I just thought she was, you know, everybody like felt a connection to her. Give her more of a backstory. Give her a little bit more like I was saying, every female character has their own kind of background and their own storyline. And Zori really didn't get that, in my opinion, with The Rise of Skywalker, as J.J. Abrams had her portrayed. It was, oh, she's somebody from Poe's past, and this is she's a plot point. She gets Poe's background established. She gets them to Babu Frick, and then after that, she passes on a coin to get them through the checkpoint. So she was used as kind of like a device for the story, but not really given anything of substance. And I really didn't like that. I was like, she's a more interesting character than that. But I've got a Zori standalone. I've been asked to do a Second Sister standalone. I've been asked to do, what was the other one?
That must have been Kylo.
Mm-hmm.
Kylo and I
oh God,
are
there was
on the
another
same
one.
page as the second, with the second sister.
there was okay, hold on. There was the second sister, there was Zori. I think the last one was Shmi Skywalker. I decided to do a standalone Shmi Skywalker from where she was young, like toddler age, and then bring it all the way current to Phantom Menace. Because I just kind of felt like out of all the female characters, or just out of all the characters, period, that are so interesting and you could play around with, and nobody's done it yet, which I don't quite understand because she's the matriarch of the Skywalker saga. I think it's kind of wrong to say the Skywalker saga is over when you haven't even explored the background of the most important character, in my opinion.
Right.
I mean, without her, we don't have anything. So I was like, okay, nobody's going to do it. I'll do it.
What was it? Was it Rebel Scum when we were talking about? I think it was off of a trivia question about where Shmi Skywalker came from, and that that she was sold by pirates or something like that.
Yeah.
And
I put Jawa Stoller.
But it really made me start to think that there is an interesting thought that not Palpatine but Plagueis is the one who created the life, and that if she was related to Sidious or Palpatine in some way, because when Plagueis was on Naboo, he went by Hugo Damask, and he was a very wealthy person. He took into the confidence of Palpatine. He destroyed the entire Palpatine family, and he sent them off different places to do different things. And if he had sent her off with some sort of pirates, and I don't know. It's just it was a thought.
It's a possible like it's somebody's point of view. I'm not gonna like dump on it. It's not the one I've got planned. But I like, hey man,
no,
it's
you never
Star
know.
Wars. I don't care who's writing it or which story it is. It's Star Wars. It's all good. But
that's part of the reason why I miss. I really miss the extended universe, and even with them calling it Legends. Which I'm fine with them calling it Legends. It's like campfire stories about a particular, character, or for us older people, Saturday Night Live reference to Bill Brasky, and he was able to do anything, and he once had 4 heart attacks, and kept eating a steak, and Bill Brasky, and
Charlie,
so
we have to say happy birthday to Kylo's little girl Krista, because apparently she's in the chat right here. Right, Charlie, the B-Day girl is here. 9:26 p.m.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. Happy birthday.
Happy
I'm
birthday,
not sure.
Krista.
Happy birthday.
14. Happy birthday, Krista.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I guess no, that's fine. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. Sometimes I get off on a little tangent and I forget to look at the comments. So, but awesome. Yes, happy birthday from our Star Wars family to yours, Miss Krista, and hopefully you had a great day. Awesome. So yeah, that's.
Sorry, Charlie. Didn't mean to derail you, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Krista's in here." Krista, she's one of the sweetest kids, and she's been so kind and nice to me, and she loves me, and I love her too. And I just, as soon as I saw that, I was like, I got to say something.
That's awesome. Well, good deal. But yeah, that's all that I had for questions for you. So anyone in the chat, if you have a question for Miss Rachel or myself, be happy to answer that while we talk about things.
I didn't even get to tell you what was coming after the Shmi Skywalker
Oh, okay.
standalone.
There was more. All right. Well, I mean, that's
Yeah.
quite a list already. Okay,
I'm
what you got?
ambitious. I'm writing a brand new trilogy.
Trilogy of?
The first two books are completely brand new characters, brand new storyline. The third book is going to actually parallel Edge in a way, where like this new character will eventually, like at the end of Edge and the end of book 3 in the new trilogy, will pretty much converge. And after that, I'll plan to do maybe another 3 books if everybody likes the trilogy. But I've got plans for a trilogy that is not Skywalker centric. I'm not going to say that there aren't characters from, the established things, the established storylines that we already know, but I think everybody will like it. Like I've run it by in completion through one person to get kind of a rough idea if it was a no or a go or a no go, and she seemed to like it. So I think that's how I'm gonna rock the sequels. So
Nice.
who knows? Maybe they'll like those and make those into movies.
As Rule and I like to say, just tell us a good story. And I don't care where it is on the timeline. Whether it has OG characters or anything else. I just want to be told a good story. Let's go from there. And I know that you know how to tell a good story, so I'm excited for it.
I try really hard to, like, I'm not gonna lie. I've asked Rule questions. I've asked Aaron Quentin a bunch of questions. Like I've had resources, thank God, to tap at certain moments because I've just been like, okay, I want to do this with this character, but I don't know if they're even alive at this time point. So I've got to make sure that I'm not, especially like with Ahsoka. Like I wish that Filoni would have answered at least one of the tweets I sent his way whenever I was writing the Ahsoka part. That way, maybe he could have given me like some insider information, and I could have made it that much sweeter. But like, I can just hope if he's not proud, I hope he's not upset. I'll settle for not upset on the Ahsoka part.
I'm sure he wouldn't be, and I don't know how much of a say that he actually gets on that. That might be more of a story group kind of thing. Maybe I don't know if you tried tweeting Matt Martin or not.
I did, and he told me he couldn't read it.
Okay.
He said, I can't read anything that's Star Wars based because of contractual agreements. And I was just like, okay. I'm still going to send him a copy. Like, I'll find his fan physical address. If he's got a fan group, I'll find a way to get him a hard copy. It could sit on his shelf for the rest of time. But when he retires, he'll be able to take it down and crack it open and be like, why didn't I read it sooner?
Awesome. All right. Well, I don't see any questions in the chat.
Come on, guys. Ask me something. Burning questions, Star Wars related or otherwise. Free pass. One time only on Charlie Show. When the show's over, the questions stop.
That could get us into some trouble there. Yeah,
Surely they'll behave, Charlie. Surely they know their manners.
Oh, I've seen some of these guys in the septic tank. You have to remember that. So
I know. I've been there with them.
Right, and for you guys in the live chat, and those that will listen on the podcast, the septic tank is run by 2Med2 Star Wars Network, Michael Condon, the Condor himself.
Rez asked what my favorite Star Wars planet is. That is difficult, sir. I know I had said before, favorite droid, definitely L3. Favorite Star Wars planet, it's a tie between Yavin and and Octo. Like I love Octo. I think it's just beautiful. I've never seen the ocean, so it looks awesome. But
you're missing the best planet.
which
Scarif.
Tis true. Tis true. But it's got an Imperial installation on it. There's no Mai Tais with the Imperials. I need a private.
Imperials here. What are you talking about?
Oh God, I've infiltrated.
Uh-oh.
Drop my cover.
There
is your
is a
Star Wars
problem with
boo thing?
transmission. All right.
Star Wars boo thing. What's a boo thing?
I have no idea.
Confused. Kylo, explain. Boo thing? Oh, does he mean like who like if I had a shot at any of the male Star Wars characters, who would I pick? Is that what that is?
I'm guessing.
Crush. Yes,
Okay.
That's what he means. That's really hard. That's really difficult. Because there's like two. There's part of me that's like Han Solo. It's got to be Han Solo. And then part of me, like, straight up just loves me some Anakin Skywalker. Like, I was a fan of Hayden Christensen before he became Anakin Skywalker. Like, one of his films that he did with Chris Klein. Yeah, Joy at, like, honest to goodness. Like, yeah, it's probably, like, I think Anakin outweighs Han just by a bit. Because, like, Life as a House was a film that he did with Kevin Kline. Incredible. Like, just the character work that he did, it was an amazing film. He started Star Wars, I was like, yes. I would have said Obi-Wan, but because Ewan McGregor was awesome, but, like, he's just so bossy. He's just so bossy. There's no fun with Obi-Wan because he's just kind of like, you gotta stay with the rules, kid, and all that stuff. It's like, come on, man. Every girl out there knows it, and I'm sure Joy will back me up on it. Like, legit, every girl likes a boy or a guy that's got a little bit of the dark side in him. Just a little bit.
All right. Yeah. It's Hayden Christensen. I think I first saw him in Jumper. With Rachel Bilson,
his ex-wife.
Yes, his ex-wife. But and I didn't even realize it was her until my wife starts watching a show on Netflix. Heart of Dixie is the name of that. She plays the doctor in it. And I was like, man, I've seen her somewhere, and I couldn't place it. And that's where I saw her in Jumper with Hayden Christensen. So, but
Charlie, they're asking you who your female crush character is.
Which series?
There's more than one.
Well, I mean, it started off with Leia. And then Padme. And then, oh man, probably Zori.
See,
this is my fish Zori.
There's one thing that kind of throws me off. Like, I'll be honest, like the Zori in my head, and no shade to Kerry Russell, because I mean, I've seen her in a few things and she's amazing, but like I've never watched Felicity. It just wasn't my cup of tea. My mom killed me with like soap operas when I was a kid. Yes, Obi-Wan is a next door neighbor. He would definitely always have sugar, but he'd have sugar and milk if you need to make a cup of coffee. But
that comment reminded me of, what was that? Yeah, either Home Improvement or Boy Meets World. You know, like the Mr. Feeney type.
Boy Meets World. He would be Feeney. He would so be Feeney. Oh God!
Hello there, Mr. Matthews.
Oh God! God, that's awesome. That like forever now, whenever I hear that whenever I see that, I'm gonna think of freaking Obi-Wan. But like, oh my God, like the Zori in the movie, Kerry Russell is not the Zori in my head. I've always thought of like before I knew it was even Kerry Russell, I thought automatically I was just like that's gonna be Megan Rath from Being Human, the US version. She was on the show with Sam Huntington and Sam Witwer. I was like, that's got to be Megan. That sounds like her, but it wasn't. And I was like, yeah, forget it. Megan's my Zori in my brain. That's who Zori is. It's Megan Rath. I just think she'd kill it. I think she'd kill it. She's got the ability to be sassy and snarky, and she's got that quick wit like Leia does. So I was like, missed opportunity, sir. You've got connections with Sam Witwer and Sam Huntington. You got Maul and a fanboy. What else could you ask for?
Where to go? I love this comment here.
Like James Bond choices.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I know that the Jedi were not supposed to have attachments, but we've seen bits and pieces of relationships that he had with what was her name, Satine, and I could definitely see that. I guess I'm not sure exactly. James Bond choices is part.
Oh, I get what she's saying. It took me a minute, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I've used Obi-Wan to the best of my ability in Edge of Hope. And I think I all I can say is I hope Sir Alec Guinness would be proud of me, and I hope, like, ultimately, like, I started Edge to keep myself entertained, to make people happy, and to give the Rilo community another option. But ultimately, like, one of the biggest driving forces behind it was I did not like how Leia was done in The Rise of Skywalker. And I mean, that's just my opinion. Like I said, Krista just hugged Rachel's side of the TV. Good night, Krista. Happy birthday.
That's awesome.
I love that kid. She's awesome. She's straight up awesome. Like, I'll adopt her any day of the week. But
all right.
Like, sorry.
That's all right. We just kind of need to wrap it up just a little bit here. I have to cook dinner and stuff for the kids and whatnot, and it's already getting a little late here. But man, I can't believe an hour has already flown by. If you guys would like to hear more adventures with Miss Rachel, then make it known. Shoot some comments in Twitter. We can definitely make that happen again. It sounds like that we're going to have a lot to talk about, especially as far as discussing Solo 2 and 3 and a lot of other projects. We could always check back in with her for more updates of Edge of Hope as well. But Rachel, tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter, usually anytime after about 10 a.m. because I don't tend to wake up very early anymore. You can find me on Twitter. I've got messaging through Wattpad, which I wasn't really aware of, but apparently I do have it. So if you want to go on Wattpad and leave me a message or highlight a passage from Edge that you thought was good, bad, you want to have a conversation about it, that's awesome. I mean, constructive criticism, please. I don't want, I don't need a bunch of people going out there and be like, this sucks, and stuff like that. Like, be constructive. Well, no, I mean, I'll take negativity. Like, Dale had a comment or a question about Edge of Hope, but like after we had a conversation about it, and like he got my interpretation and I listen to his. Like, it's something that gives you a conversation. Give me something to work with conversation wise so we can have a discussion. Don't just tag a piece of it and be like, this isn't canon. It's horrible. Why did you write this? You know, it's cover your box. My box? What about my box?
I don't know.
I'm lost.
But yeah, it's there's a way of being constructive but remaining positive while doing it, remaining respectful doing it. But yeah, so they can message you on Wattpad. They could message you on Twitter.
Yep, I'm at Rupert Girl right here under down near. I'm trying to like point to it, but my finger's too close. Right there.
All right, awesome. Well,
yes,
I appreciate
I do need the Star Wars poster. I know the door to Narnia is very boring to stare at.
Send her a poster, Kilo. There you go.
I like shirts too.
All right. Well, I appreciate
my information last night whenever I won that Falcon, Charlie. And I haven't gotten anything from him. You may have to ding him for me.
I'm sure that they're waiting for the end of the other thing. That way they can send everything all together. So, that's cool. But we'll see, and I will gently remind them. Yes, thanks to everyone that popped into the chat and hung out with us for this last little bit over an hour. Krista, again, happy birthday to you. Tell her that we said that, Kilo. And you guys have a great rest of your night. May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you. Bye.